What you're about to hear isn't the plot of a spy thriller. It's the reality facing Europe right now, according to Britain's top intelligence officer. Visualize a war being fought not on battlefields but in the shadows of our cities, where weapons aren't just missiles and tanks, but computer code, disinformation campaigns, and operatives carrying out sabotage and assassinations on foreign soil. Where the front line isn't a border you can see on a map. It's everywhere. This is the very stark warning delivered by Blaise Metrowelli, the first woman to lead MI6, Britain's legendary foreign intelligence service. In her inaugural public address in December of 2025, she painted an alarming picture of Russia's systematic campaign to export chaos across Europe and undermine the foundations of Western democracy itself. Today we'll review the tactics Russia is using to destabilize nations without firing a shot in conventional battle. We'll explore why intelligence agencies say they're facing an immense challenge that demands new technologies, new partnerships, and new ways of thinking. And we'll ask the crucial question: can democratic societies defend themselves against this kind of multifaceted threat? From cyber attacks on critical infrastructure to assassination attempts on European streets, from disinformation networks poisoning public discourse to drones conducting surveillance and sabotage. This is the new face of conflict in the 21st century. And according to MI6, the stakes couldn't be higher. Welcome to That's Life, I swear. This podcast is about life's happenings in this world that conjure up such words as intriguing, frightening, life-changing, inspiring, and more. I'm Rick Barron, your host. That said, here's the rest of this story. The head of British intelligence has issued a stark warning about Moscow's increasingly aggressive posture toward Western nations, characterizing the Kremlin's activities as an existential challenge to European stability. In her debut address to the public, Blaise Metrowelli outlined a chilling assessment of Russian President Vladimir Putin's strategy to destabilize democratic societies through an unprecedented campaign of covert operations. European capitals are facing what intelligence officials describe as a multifaceted assault orchestrated from Moscow. The Russian government has allegedly orchestrated a systematic effort to undermine Western institutions through carefully coordinated attacks that blur the boundaries between peacetime and open conflict. These operations range from physical acts of destruction to sophisticated digital intrusions designed to erode public trust in democratic governance. The scale and ambition of Russia's covert campaign represents a fundamental shift in how hostile nations wage conflict in the modern era. Traditional military confrontations have given way to what analysts call hybrid warfare, a deliberate strategy combining conventional sabotage, advanced cyber capabilities, propaganda networks, and targeted violence against individuals deemed threatening to Russian interests. This approach allows Moscow to inflict damage on adversaries while maintaining a veneer of deniability. Now let me provide you an analogy of what hybrid warfare is all about. Russia's campaign is less like a traditional battlefield clash and more like a slow-moving wildfire deliberately set by an arsonist who never appears at the scene. In the past, wars were fought like forest fires, sparked by lightning, loud, visible, unmistakable. Today's hybrid warfare is different. It begins with small, scattered embers. A hacked computer system here, a disinformational spark there, a sabotaged pipeline smoldering out of sight. Each fire alone looks accidental or containable. Together, they reshape the entire landscape. The arsonist moves carefully, wearing gloves. He lights fires using many tools: matches, magnifying glasses, faulty wiring, so no signal blaze can be traced back to him. By the time authorities realize the forest is burning, the flames are already everywhere, and no clear front line exists. The damage is real and widespread, but responsibility remains just out of reach. This is the essence of modern hybrid warfare, not a single explosion that announces war, but 1,000 controlled ignitions designed to exhaust, confuse, and weaken an opponent, while the one who sets the fires insists the smoke must have come from somewhere else. Intelligence agencies across Europe have documented a disturbing pattern of Russian-linked incidents over recent years. Warehouses storing military equipment designed for Ukraine have mysteriously caught fire. Critical infrastructure facilities have experienced suspicious technical failures. Political dissidents and defectors living in exile have been targeted for assassination, some with military-grade nerve agents. These events, once dismissed as isolated occurrences, now appear to form part of a coordinated strategy directed from the highest levels of the Russian state. The digital realm has emerged as a particularly dangerous battlefield. Russian military intelligence units and state-sponsored hacking collectives have penetrated government networks, stolen sensitive information, and planted malicious code designed to activate during a future crisis. Energy grids, transportation systems, financial institutions, and communication networks all represent potential targets. The goal extends beyond simple espionage and encompasses the capacity to inflict crippling damage to civilian infrastructure at a moment of Moscow's choosing. Disinformation campaigns amplify the physical threats. Russian operatives have weaponized social media platforms and established fake news outlets that appear legitimate to casual observers. These networks spread carefully crafted narratives designed to exploit existing social divisions, undermine confidence in electoral processes, and foster cynicism about democratic institutions. The cumulative effort creates an environment where citizens struggle to distinguish fact from fiction, weakening the social cohesion necessary for effective governance. Kremlin's willingness to employ violence on foreign soil particularly alarms security officials. Assassination attempts against perceived traitors, some successful and others foiled, demonstrate Putin's determination to eliminate critics regardless of international norms. Russian threats and targeted actions against Europe are not isolated incidents. They form a central planned and managed campaign designed to destabilize European societies, test Europe's resilience and resolve, and weaken the transatlantic bond. Russia is using a wide toolkit: sabotage of critical infrastructure, subversion, cyber attacks, disinformation, and propaganda, GPS jamming of civilian aircraft, damaging undersea cables, drone incursions over European territories, and operations targeting critical and commercial infrastructure, as well as our democratic institutions, have all been observed in days and months and years. Hybrid warfare campaigns work best in polarized societies, and what we are witnessing through these measures is exasperating polarization, eroding trust, and dividing communities. Therefore, countering disinformation, protecting media independence, and building public trust must be strategic security priorities. The use of chemical weapons on British territory in 2018 represented an unprecedented breach of conventions that had governed state behavior for decades. Rather than deterring further aggression, the relatively modest international response appears to have emboldened Moscow. European nations find themselves struggling to counter this multidimensional threat. Traditional defense mechanisms designed for conventional warfare prove inadequate against an adversary operating in the shadows. Police forces lack the specialized skills to investigate sophisticated cyber attacks. Intelligence services face overwhelming volumes of information requiring analysis. Legal frameworks developed for peacetime conditions fail to address the unique challenges posed by hybrid operations that fall short of outright military conflict. The technology sector has become an unexpected frontier in this shadow war. AI, quantum computing, autonomous systems, and advanced surveillance capabilities represents both tools and targets. Russian intelligence activities seeks to acquire Western technological innovations through theft, recruitment of insiders, and exploitation of commercial partnerships. At the same time, Moscow develops its own capabilities to deploy drones for reconnaissance and attack, create deep fake media to spread disinformation, and employ machine learning to identify vulnerabilities in critical systems. Britain's intelligence establishment recognizes it must adapt or risk becoming obsolete. The traditional model of human intelligence gathering, while still valuable, requires augmentation with cutting-edge technical capabilities. Agents must now possess fluency in programming languages alongside their linguistic skills. Understanding network architectures and encryption protocols has become as essential as cultivating human sources. The recruitment, training, and operational deployment of intelligence officers demands a complete rethinking to meet contemporary challenges. The psychological dimension of Russia's campaign deserves particular attention here. By creating an atmosphere of pervasive threat, Moscow seeks to exhaust Western societies and paralyze decision-making. When citizens view every institution as potentially compromised and every disaster as potentially orchestrated, the resulting anxiety and suspicion corrode the bonds that hold communities together. Putin benefits from chaos itself, regardless of whether specific operations succeed or fail. European unity faces severe tests as Russia exploits national differences and historical grievances. Countries most geographically proximate to Russia experience acute anxiety about their security, while those more distant sometimes downplay the threat. Economic dependencies, particularly regarding energy supplies, create vulnerabilities that Moscow actively exploits. Far-right and far-left political movements, whether knowingly or unknowingly, sometimes echo Russian talking points and oppose measures to strengthen collective defense. The challenge extends beyond Europe's borders, though. Russian operatives have established footholds in Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, and Asia, pursuing influence operations that weaken Western partnerships and secure access to resources. Private military contractors operating under Kremlin direction enable plausible deniability while advancing Russian interests through force. Now, this global dimension means that threats can emerge from unexpected directions and that responses require worldwide coordination. Now, the economic cost of this shadow war increases daily. Governments invest billions in cybersecurity infrastructure, intelligence capabilities, and protective measures for critical facilities. Private companies face escalating expenses for securing systems and insurance premiums. The broader economy suffers from reduced trust, reluctance to adopt beneficial technologies due to security concerns, and disruptions to international commerce. Now, these burdens strain public budgets and compete with other national priorities. Yet the cost of failing to respond would prove far greater. Let's not kid ourselves. A Europe unable to protect itself from Russian aggression would face a future of escalating intimidation, potential territorial aggression, and the gradual erosion of the values and freedoms that define Western civilization. The stakes transcend any single nation or even the current generation. They encompass the fundamental question of whether democratic societies can survive in an era of sophisticated hybrid threats. Russia's campaign to export chaos will likely persist for years or decades. You see, Putin views Western weakness as an opportunity and miscalculates that democracies lack the resolve to defend themselves over the long term. Proving him wrong requires not just government action, but a whole of society response that demonstrates the enduring strength of open societies when they choose to defend their values and protect their future. So what can we learn from this story? What's the takeaway? The most blazing takeaway from all this warning: is that the front line is everywhere. Conflict is no longer confined to battlefields or declared wars. It now unfolds quietly through cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, sabotage and arson, assassination and covert violence, and the manipulation of social divisions. This means ordinary institutions, schools, hospitals, elections, supply chains, media platforms are now part of the contested space. Security is no longer just a military concern. It's civic, technological, and social. Well, there you go, my friends. That's life, I swear. For further information regarding the material covered in this episode, I invite you to visit my website, which can be found on Apple Podcasts, for show notes and the episode transcript. As always, I thank you for the privilege of you listening and your interest. Be sure to subscribe here or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you soon.